There's something nobody tells you about the people who seem to skyrocket from nowhere, the ones who go from broke to wealthy in 18 months, from unknown to influential in a year, from struggling to thriving while you're still stuck. You think they found some secret, some hidden advantage, some trick the rest of us don't know about. But here's the uncomfortable truth. They didn't do anything extraordinary. They just understood something about human performance that most people completely miss, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. So what's really behind those seemingly overnight transformations? The lie we've been sold. Let's go back to 1960. That's when the self-help industry started selling us a story about transformation. It went like this: if you want to change your life, you need to make massive changes. Burn the boats. Go all in. Quit your job. Wake up at a.m. Work 80-hour weeks. Hollywood loved this story. Rocky running up the stairs. The Karate Kid training until exhaustion. Every sports movie ever made. And we bought it. Completely. Fast forward to today. Every January, gym memberships spike by 40%. People sign up promising they'll work out 6 days a week. They'll meal prep every Sunday. They'll become completely different people. By February 15th, 80% have already quit. The British Journal of Health Psychology tracked over 3,000 people trying to build new habits. Their finding? Only 19% of people who relied on willpower and dramatic changes actually succeeded. The rest crashed and burned within weeks. But here's what's wild. We keep doing the same thing, over and over, expecting different results. We blame ourselves. I'm not disciplined enough. I'm not motivated enough. I'm not strong enough. Wrong diagnosis. Wrong treatment. The problem isn't you. It's the approach. The Stanford experiment that changed everything in 2012. A behavior scientist at Stanford named B.J. Fogg ran an experiment that broke all the rules. He recruited people who wanted to build better habits. But instead of telling them to go big, he told them to go ridiculously small. Want to floss? Start with 1 tooth. Just 1. Want to exercise? Do 2 push-ups. That's it. Want to meditate? Breathe deeply 3 times. People thought he was insane. How is 1 tooth going to make any difference? But Fogg knew something they didn't. He understood that the human brain doesn't resist small changes. It resists big ones. 6 months into the study, something remarkable happened. The woman who started flossing 1 tooth was now flossing her entire mouth every night. The guy doing 2 push-ups was doing full 30-minute workouts. The 3-breath meditator was sitting for 20 minutes daily. They didn't willpower their way there. The habits just grew. Naturally. Automatically. Inevitably. Fogg had discovered something that contradicted everything we thought we knew about change. The smaller the start, the bigger the finish. The math that nobody wants to believe. Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's say you improve by just 1% every single day. 1%. Barely noticeable. Practically invisible. Most people would laugh at that. 1. That's nothing. I need to 10x my life. But compound interest doesn't care what you think. If you get 1% better every day for 1 year, you don't end up 365% better. You end up 37 times better. That's 3,700% growth. On the flip side, if you get 1% worse each day, you decline nearly to 0. This is the compound effect, and it's absolutely brutal in both directions. James Clear wrote about this in Atomic Habits. He calls it the plateau of latent potential. For months, you're putting in work and seeing almost nothing. You're below the line of visible results. You feel like you're wasting your time. Then suddenly, without warning, you break through. Results explode. Opportunities flood in. Everything changes. But here's the thing. The breakthrough didn't happen overnight. It was building the entire time. Underground. Invisible. Compounding. Clear himself experienced this. He wrote articles for years with almost no readers. Then one article went viral. Then another. Then a book deal. Then 10 million copies sold. Everyone called it an overnight success. He called it 3 years of invisible progress, finally becoming visible. If you're still watching, this is hitting different. Hit that like button right now and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next about real performance and actual results. The 3 elements nobody talks about now. Here's the part that separates people who actually transform from people who just talk about it. Tiny daily changes don't work in isolation. They need 3 specific components to generate massive results. First, strategic stacking. You can't just add new habits to your life randomly. Your brain will reject them. But if you attach a new habit to an existing one, success rate jumps 300%. Harvard researchers found that habit stacking works because it hijacks existing neural pathways. Your brain already knows how to do the first thing automatically, so the second thing gets pulled along. Example: after I pour my morning coffee, I'll write 1 sentence of my book. The coffee ritual is automatic. The writing gets anchored to it. Second, immediate wins. Your brain learns through dopamine hits. If you do something and feel good immediately after, your brain tags it as good. Do again. Most people wait for big results to celebrate. Wrong move. Celebrate the tiny action itself. Finished that 1 sentence? Fist pump. Did those 2 push-ups? Hell yeah. Sounds stupid. Works perfectly. Neuroscience research from MIT shows that immediate emotional rewards are 10 times more effective at creating lasting behavior change than delayed rewards. Third, systems over outcomes. Goals tell you where you want to go. Systems get you there. I want to make $100,000 this year is a goal. I'll reach out to 5 potential clients every morning before a.m. is a system. The goal gives you a target. The system puts you in motion. Warren Buffett doesn't focus on being the richest investor. He focuses on reading 500 pages a day and making slightly better decisions than yesterday. The wealth is just a byproduct of the system. The trap everyone falls into, but here's the brutal paradox of modern life. We live in a culture addicted to speed, instant results, life hacks, shortcuts, growth, hacking, biohacking, every kind of hacking. And this creates an entire generation jumping from strategy to strategy, always looking for the next magic bullet. Here's the problem. Speed without consistency is just noise. Research from Duke University found that 40% of our daily actions aren't conscious decisions. They're automatic habits. That means nearly half your life is on autopilot. If your autopilot habits suck, you're sabotaging yourself 40% of the time without even knowing it. And no productivity hack is going to save you from that. But if you build solid habits, you're advancing 40% of the time without even trying. That's the difference between fighting the current and letting the river carry you. Elite performers get this instinctively. Kobe Bryant didn't practice to win championships. He practiced to make his footwork 0.3 seconds faster, his shot release 0.2 seconds quicker. Multiplied across 10,000 repetitions, that became 5 championship rings. Navy SEALs don't train for being tough. They train to improve their breathing technique by 2, their reaction time by 1, their decision-making under stress by 0.5%, compounded over thousands of missions. That becomes legendary performance. What's coming next changes everything. And here's where this conversation gets really uncomfortable. We're entering an era where AI is going to automate more and more tasks. Technology will accelerate processes. Tools will get more powerful. So will tiny daily improvements matter more or less? Most people get this wrong. They think, if AI can do everything, why bother with small improvements? The real answer? Tiny improvements will matter more than ever. Because when everyone has access to the same AI tools, the same information, the same resources, the competitive edge comes down to one thing: consistency in the details. Companies like Tesla, Amazon, and Apple don't dominate because they had one brilliant idea. They dominate because they improve their products and processes by microscopic amounts every single day. Elon Musk talks about this constantly. He doesn't aim for revolutionary breakthroughs. He aims for 0.5% improvements in manufacturing efficiency every week, forever. Over 5 years, that becomes a completely different company. And here's the really interesting part. While AI gets better at executing tasks, humans who master consistent improvement get better at directing AI. The future doesn't belong to the fastest. It belongs to the most consistent. So here's the real question. Are you willing to make tiny improvements for 6 months without seeing any visible results? Or are you still looking for the shortcut? Drop your honest answer in the comments, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to this channel for more truth about real performance that nobody else is talking about. This content is for educational and informational purposes only. Individual results may vary. Please consult qualified professionals for specific guidance regarding your personal situation.